back. We're at Landa Park with StretchLab. It's a bit moist today, isn't it?
It's pretty humid.
So we had some technical difficulties. Now we're back.
Yeah.
It's the worst podcast with Robin and Skylar. I'm actually a client of you guys and have been for over a year.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what? Hey, we're doing this lovely fundraiser, the Stacy Dix Park and Recreation Scholarship Fund. We have a lot of different people, different disciplines coming out. But let's talk about StretchLab.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Yeah, so StretchLab is a one-on-one assisted stretching company. We help with mobility and flexibility. We also can help decrease muscle and joint pain, and we can also help with sports performance. So say you're an avid runner, a basketball, football player, we can help kind of take away some of those pains that you may be feeling after a game, get you nice and stretched out. We also have some specialties, so we can help with sciatic pain. We do have a couple clients that have MS and ACL. I know Robin has quite a bit of clients that have Parkinson's. She knows a little bit more about that than I do. But
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about that, your background and how that applies, or how you could use that to help people with Parkinson's.
Well, in addition to working at StretchLab, I've been a Rocksteady boxing coach for the last 3 years, and Rocksteady is particular for people with Parkinson's disease, so that helps them fight back against all the neuromuscular symptoms that are prevalent with Parkinson's, and no two people with Parkinson's have exactly the same symptoms. Well, I finally have one of my boxers coming in to see me because he's got some range of motion issues, and he's been to chiropractor, he's been to physical therapy, he's done massage, and it still doesn't seem to get the job done. So he started coming to me to stretch, and of course as soon as he gets off the bench he feels so much better, because one-on-one assisted stretching is more beneficial than trying to do it yourself, because we can assist you into the stretch, and then we hold the contraction, and then we are able to get you deeper into that stretch than you could ever do by yourself.
yeah, so the style of stretching that we do is called PNF stretching, short for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation.
Nice.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yes, and really it's a push and release style stretching. So we kind of hold you into a stretch for a couple seconds, and then you're going to actually contract against us. And what that does is actually tighten up your muscle. And then when we release that contraction, it lengthens your muscle. So that's how we're able to provide a deeper stretch than, say, you would do on your own.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking earlier when it comes to stretching for me personally, and so maybe some of your other clients is, you mentioned they come in, they start stretching before they even get stretched.
Yes, yeah.
And it's kind of like going to the dentist and trying to floss.
Right.
Before. Well, that's 100% me.
Yeah.
I hate stretching, but one of the things I do love is just, it's yes, you do the assisted stretching for me personally, but you also give advice and different techniques, different things that I just wouldn't have thought of. I mean, we do have YouTube, but it's just there's something more about just having the one-on-one, the face-to-face.
Right.
For me personally, and others too, I think.
Yeah, and the problem you get, like, when you stretch on your own is when you do start feeling that tension, you're like, ooh, I need to back off.
Yep.
Whereas us, we ain't going to back off. Like, we're going to hold it there, and you're going to take it for a couple seconds. And so that's a big difference, too.
It is.
I have a question for you, John. What kind of benefits have you seen since when you do come to StretchLab to get stretched?
When I'm consistent, which I haven't been over the past few months, but when I'm consistent, I find that my runs are a lot better. I don't have the regular pains and aches when I do it with you guys a couple times out of the week, and I'm able to run further and just work on the things that I'm trying to do. But when I don't, I tend to have some problems,
Yeah.
And but that's what it is for me personally.
Yeah. So tell us, what is something that you notice when, as a runner, that seems to tighten up and that you get relief from with StretchLab?
Man, it just depends on the day, really. I mean, but the hip flexors, I don't know all the terms really well. I just know I know that when I do get stretched, I have better range of motion. My knees and the side of the knee, what is that called? That
Yeah.
I forget.
Well, you have quite a bit of muscles going
Yeah.
through your knee. Yeah.
But I just find that I don't know, just I don't know how to describe it. I just feel a difference. That's
Yeah.
all I could say.
Yeah, you got your hamstrings, your quads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some people describe it as feeling lighter when you get off the bench. I know that's what happened to me my first time being stretched.
Yeah, it's almost as if like you're kind of floating on air. You're just like,
Exactly.
oh wow, I'm a new person.
Exactly.
well, there is definitely that feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I have never left StretchLab saying, "Oh, geez, I wish I didn't do that."
Yeah.
You know, but you know, my journey when it comes to the running, the exercise, and all that. I mean, every day is a struggle. Like I do not want to get up and run. I mean, but I find that if I go through that pain, the reward afterward is so much greater. It's the same thing with stretching.
You're right.
Stretching is not meant to be like a massage. Well, even a massage, you can do a deep tissue one, I guess. But you know, there's a little bit of pain involved.
Right.
But it's the reward afterward and the effects that you get afterward. I
Yeah.
think.
We actually have quite a bit of clients that came in and they were avid massage goers or chiropractic goers. And once they discover StretchLab, they actually end up dropping
Yeah.
those things. Because, I mean, a lot of times when you're going to a chiropractor or going to massage, it's because your muscles are tight. And so
Yeah.
you loosen, you lengthen those muscles, you're not going to have those issues anymore.
That happened to me. I had a tricky hip, and since I started getting stretched, it went away, and I don't have to go to the chiropractor anymore.
1 second. This is one thing I always worry about. Is my recording. Hold on.
Oh,
Oh, we don't have to start over.
All right, we're still doing good. Just had to
Good.
double check. So, I am curious to know though, like StretchLab itself, it's a relatively new company. It is a franchise.
yeah. So we're based out of California. Let's see, we've been open at the studio, it's a little over a year.
Yeah.
And since that year, we've already opened a new location in Kyle, but there's also been 400 other stretch labs that have opened globally.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're definitely growing. The word's getting out there.
Yeah. I guess the other thing maybe you could speak to is kind of how it works. It's you know, there's different programs. There's different the amount of type of or not the type, but the length. You know, 25 minutes versus 50. Maybe you could speak a little to what the program offers.
Yeah, for sure. So whenever you first come into StretchLab, we do like an introductory stretch, and this is our time to get to know you. What's your past injuries, surgeries that could be affecting your life? Maybe you are struggling with sciatic pain. How active are you? How often are you working? Are you doing any stretching on your own? And another factor is, what do you do for a living? Are you at a desk? Are you on your feet? And so we kind of break that down, and then we go into your first stretch where we kind of point out, oh, wow, okay, you know your hamstrings are tight. This could be leading to some of your lower back pain. You have really tight glutes. That could also be leading to some lower back pain. You're at a desk all day. You have really tight chest. You know, your neck is sore. And then after that, we kind of prescribe, okay, we'd like to see you once a week, or we'd like to see you twice a week. And so our membership breaks down 4 times a month, so once a week, or 8 times a month, which would be twice a week. And then you have that 25 and 50-minute option. A lot of times if it's a 25-minute, we usually tend to prescribe that to people that may struggle to get in. You know, stay-at-home moms that can't get away for a 50-minute,
Sure.
or people that are traveling a lot for work. But really, we like to recommend the 50 just because it gives us enough time on the bench to really assess all your needs.
Sure.
But whenever you come in, we have 3 phases, periodization phases. So we kind of start you in our foundational phase, and that's just introducing your body to the stretches, getting your muscles used to it, start seeing a little progress. Once we see that progress, we'll move you into an active phase. So now we're going to be holding the stretches longer. We're going to probably be doing a couple more contractions to really progress your movements.
Sure.
And then once we really you're starting to feel good, you know, we've hit all your goals, we don't want you to leave, we want to maintain that. So then we go to a maintain phase, which is called our performance phase, and kind of maintain what we've been working on. And life throws a lot of curveballs at you. Maybe you've gotten really good and you were down at the gym, you did a lunge, and boom, your MCL tore, or some kind of injury popped up. Now we're going to start addressing that. So there's always something to improve on.
Very good. So one of the things that I found kind of interesting is that you have, well, I mean, what do you call yourself? Not stretch.
Flexologist.
Flexologist. Oh, there you go.
A lot of people call us stretchologists, which would make a little bit more sense.
I like it, flexologist. So one of the cool things is that when I go to set an appointment, I mean, my schedule is just all over the place. So I'm never consistent with doing it certain days or certain times of the week, which is really nice. They have the app where it allows you to pick a time. You know, for me, it's always last minute, like what do they have available today or tomorrow, and then I'll show the slots and then the different flexologists. And I've had all of you guys and gals. So you have different people doing it. You know, some just do it a little different than the others. Some are a little bit tougher than others. And then, but what I found interesting though is every time I go in, they already kind of know my history because there's a
We take
notes.
notes.
take a lot of notes. And so I'm like, oh, how'd you know that? Well, it's right here.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Is if someone like you, a client like you, does tend to bounce around, we all are on the same page.
Yeah.
We know, like, okay, John's coming in. Those hammies, man, they're tight. We're gonna be focusing on that. Or he has a certain injury, so we're aware of that.
Yep. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time. The hard part is going to be to cut this down with all that. I might just leave it in. I don't know.
Well, we are at a golf course.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.